Namaste and welcome. Mighty companions, beloved mighty companions, so devoted to the truth of divine light within that we come together to celebrate and to see where love is being denied within ourselves and to see the impossibility in the light of divine being. It's impossible for love to be divine, denied us unless we desire and experience otherwise. And even if we desire it, we can see in honesty of God that the desire cannot change what's always here. Can a single desire in the honesty of the light of divine being, can a single desire change what's already here? So today we look at lesson 183. A beautiful lesson, another beautiful thought of God. I call upon God's name and on my own. And when I saw that lesson, it kind of reminded me, you know, how we get these assignments from Spirit to, well, look deeply and look deeply through movies. So I've been watching a lot of movies from the perspective of the light and using the lesson with the movie. And we were watching Star Trek Beyond, and then there was this swarm that was coming after them, right? Just millions and billions. It just, again, reminds me of how many thoughts seem to come our way and that we have to defend against all the thoughts. And I'm seeing that the desire to fight is the defense, push back. And all we need is this one sentence: I call upon God's name and on my own. When the swarm seems to come, that's it. One thought of God is more powerful than however many thoughts are appearing. God's name is holy, but no holier than yours. That's a powerful statement. In the light of divine being, is God's name holy and no holier than our name as the Son of God? For the Father to make the Son different than himself, he can't honor himself in that way. He can only honor himself by making the Son as himself and not apart from himself. Some would call this arrogance to say that we're the same as God, yet see the arrogance as saying that we're not the same. The arrogance is not admitting divinity, that we're made as God made us, that we are as God made us. A father gives his son his name and thus identifies the son with him. His brothers share his name and thus they are united in a bond to which they turn for their identity. His brothers share his name in the light of divine being. This is what the ego does not want to see, that the brother shares the name of God too. In the light of divine being, does the brother share the name of God and hear the truth? It has to be so. For what God gives is equal to all, the great equalizer, to which they turn for their identity. Your Father's name reminds you who you are, even within a world that does not know, even though you have not remembered it, even though you have chosen not to remember it, to pretend like you can't remember it. In truth, in the light of divine being, can we ever forget that love is here? Infinite, unchanging. So it came today as in the morning, listening to Jesus as we all do. We all have this power to hear him and to ask him to show denials And one thing that came so clear is the word because. Because. That separates out cause and effect in our minds for reasons. I saw how heavy that burden is, to have a reason, how we must follow the Holy Spirit without reason. Because is to have a cause outside of effect. And to see how much energy was really being invested in. It's a denial of divinity behind the becauses, but we have to see that. It's such a habit to say, I'm going to do this because. We have to look at the becauses at first to see that we have becauses. They're implicit under every thought of others, a because. I'm not worthy because. I'm not divine now because. Because, just split cause off from effect. And we can see that's why it's so helpful to start seeing when Jesus is given an assignment, there are no reasons. And you can find that, I can see that they're just, can't find a why for something. You just know it. That's being on the skids of grace. That's being on the skids of divine infinite power. Because the because is an attempt to put a limitation on God's name, actually. The because is the attempt to prove that the ego exists, that prove existence of the ego. Jesus says in the Course, you doubt your existence. That's the whole point of it. The ego is to doubt divine existence, the existence of divine nature. God's name cannot be heard without response, nor said without an echo in the mind that calls you to remember. Wow. God's name. Even if we take God's name in vain, the word God's still in there. Something must know God is there to curse it. Even to be an atheist, anti-God, or God is not here, it's still anti-something. Can't get away from God. Can't. And the light of divine being, is it possible to escape? Let's try really hard. As many becauses, just throw thousands of because God, I'm not God, because, and then see, is the light still there despite every because we could go? I'm not divine. Oh. Say his name and you invite the, oh my gosh, that's glorious. You invite the angels to surround the ground on which you stand. Invite the angels. He has a way with words, doesn't he? And sing to you as they spread out their wings to keep you safe. Call on God's name. Is to call ourselves home immediate.
Ik zit een meditatie te doen met een hele groep.
Oh.
Nee, maar kan zo.
Tambo's up there.
Hè?
Mag ik mij brengen? Want ik kan niet knippen met rechts en een pleister.
Ja, kan je nog heel even wachten?
Oh, wait, sorry. I'm wrong. That's Marguerite needed to mute her. Okay. I thought that was Tambo standing outside the door trying to speak with her. Okay, here we are. Say his name and you invite the angels to surround the ground on which you stand and sing to you as they spread their wings out to keep you safe and shelter you from every worldly thought that would intrude upon your holiness. Every thought that would intrude on holiness. That's a helpful thing to remember when the quote unquote attack thoughts seem to come. When our desire is for attack thoughts to remind ourselves that we are divine beings. And therefore, attack thoughts only come with our desire. Repeat God's name, and all the world responds to laying down illusions. Wow. Start to see how powerful. You see the whole course lessons in a new way, don't we? Every dream the world holds dear has suddenly gone by, and where it seemed to stand, you find a star, a miracle of grace. The sick arise, the healed of their sickly thoughts. The blind can see, the deaf can hear. God is in everything I see. The sorrowful cast off their mourning, and the tears of pain are dried as happy laughter comes to bless the world. Happy laughter blessing the world. So I would pay millions of dollars to go see a comedian to laugh and forget for a moment what the miscreation. Jesus is offering a permanent laughter plan. In the name of God. In the name of God is our function, happy laughter. The answer of the divine light. Repeat the name of God, and little names have lost their meaning. No temptation becomes a nameless and unwanted thing before God's name. Repeat his name and see how easily you will forget the names of all gods you valued. They have not lost the name of God you gave them. They become anonymous and valueless to you. Although before you let the name of God replace their little names, you stood before them worshipfully, naming them as God, naming all the attack thoughts as God. Wow. Honoring and worshiping attack thoughts. That's humbling. Honoring and worshiping at the altar of attack thoughts. I'm willing to see it. Thank you for showing me that. Honoring at the altar of defense against divine nature. Defenses, the becauses. Repeat the name of God and call upon yourself, whose name is his. That's so beautiful. It's ridiculously beautiful. There's so many concepts about God, aren't there? Even the saying the word God just flushes up the defenses. Every concept we have of that man keeping a track up there, that it's a man in a body, is the divine light of being God in the glory and honor of ourselves and the honesty of God. Infinite happiness. Whose name is his. Repeat his name, and all the tiny nameless things on earth slip right into perspective. No wonder we resist saying the word God or looking at Jesus. Really looking at what Jesus is. All the tiny nameless things on earth slip right into perspective. That's why there's so many arguments in religion over what God is, what God looks like, what God is saying. See that the Holy Spirit is the light of divine being past all those arguments. Light of divine being, know anything about religion? Why religion is bad, another because. Why one religion's better than another. Does the light of divine being get involved in that argument? Those who call upon the name of God cannot mistake the nameless for the name. the name with a capital N. Nor sin for grace, nor bodies for the Holy Son of God. Wow. Nor sin for grace, nor bodies for the Holy Son of God. And should you join a brother as you sit with him in silence, like we're doing now, and repeat God's name along with him in your quiet mind. It's like your head bows automatically on that one. Just say God's name together. In your quiet mind, you have established there an altar which reaches to God himself and to his Son. Today we honor at the altar of truth, divine being. That's the only altar that we want to honor in his name. Practice but this today. Repeat God's name slowly again and still again. And I say, and this is why the Om's so powerful, the name of God, or whatever name has meaning in the mind, God, Om, Allah. That's why so many of those traditions have that word in it. Become oblivious to every name but his. And be not concerned to what the name looks like. We know it. We know which. Let him give it. Jesus give the name to say. It serves our highest good, God. Name slowly again and still again, God. Become oblivious to every name but his. Hear nothing else. Let all your thoughts become anchored on this. No other word we use except at the beginning when we say today's idea but once. And then God's name becomes our only thought, our only word, the only thing that occupies our minds, the only thing, only wish we have, the only sound with any meaning, the only name of everything that we desire to see, of everything that we would call our own. This is all there is. Thus do we give an invitation which can never be refused. And God will come and answer it himself. Think not he hears the little prayers of those who call on him with names of idols cherished of the world. They cannot reach him thus. This is simplicity. He cannot hear requests that he be not himself, or that his Son receive another name but his. Another name than his. Repeat God's name and you acknowledge him as sole creator of reality. This is mantras. many names of God. And Mujis, they sing to the light in the morning and just sing praises to the light. Om Namah Shivaya. And you acknowledge also that his son is part of him, creating in his name. Sit silently and let his name become all-encompassing idea that holds your mind completely. To be held so fully in the name of God. Let all thoughts be still except this one. And to all other thoughts, respond with this and see God's name replace the 1,000 little names you gave your thoughts, not realizing that there is one name for all there is and all there will be. Today, you can achieve a state in which you will experience the gift of grace. You can escape all bondage of the world and give the world the same release you found. You can remember what the world forgot and offer it your own remembering. You can accept today the part you play in its salvation, your own as well. And both can be accomplished perfectly. The God mantra. Turn to the name of God for your release, and it is given you. No prayer, but this is necessary, for it holds them all within it. Words are insignificant and all requests unneeded when God's Son calls on his Father's name. Remember all the miracles that occur in the mind when people talk about it, and I ask God to help me, and all the miracles that come from that request. His Father's thoughts become his own. He makes his claim to all his Father gave, and is giving still and will forever give. He calls on him to let all things he thought he made be nameless now, and in their place the holy name of God becomes his judgment of their worthlessness. All little things are silent, little sounds are soundless now. The little things of earth have disappeared. The universe consists of nothing but the Son of God who calls upon his Father, and his Father's voice gives answer in his Father's holy name. In this eternal, still relationship in which communication far transcends all words, yet exceeds in depth and height whatever words could possibly convey, is peace eternal. Beyond words. In our Father's name, we would experience his peace today, and in his name it shall be given us. Amen.